Greetings, YouTubers. Okay, now, if you've seen my channel before, you know that a majority of my videos feature me just sitting on a couch somewhere. And I suppose some of you out there are wondering, what's the rest of the place look like? So today is the answer to that question. But first, a little background. You see, back in February of 2020, and yes, that's how you pronounce it, February, on Valentine's Day weekend, I know it because this was also the weekend the new Sonic the Hedgehog movie came out. My sister, who used to live in the basement, had moved out and found a place of her own. So that gave me a chance to swoop in and take the basement for myself. And that's what you've been seeing. It's been me down in the basement. And with a little hard work and some help from my mother, we have transformed it into something pretty amazing. I mean, if you could only see what it looked like before the restoration. Here, let me clue you in. Here's what the east half of the basement looked like. Then the west half. The south face. The outside foyer. And of course, the bathroom. But now look what I have now. We start at a familiar setting here in the kitchen. Then we go down to this stairwell here, which leads down to the basement, where I walk up and down every day. And here we enter the main foyer. This is the area where I keep most of my things for travel. Hooks to hang my scarves and keys and such. Place to keep my water bottles, my thermos, my masks, my lunchbox. Here's another hanger just for my jacket and hat. And of course here is the bathroom, which I decorated myself. I decided to give it a nautical theme. Shower curtain with sailboat, fishing net, a porthole clock. I even painted this pipe myself to make it look like a dock leg with moss on it. And some things written in glow-in-the-dark paint. And one room that's basically stayed the same is this room, where I have a refrigerator and where I do my laundry. But now it's time for the main attraction. These are the main doors that lead into my bachelor pad. And as you can see, I have it decked out for the holidays. That's one thing I love to do every year, is decorate my space for the holidays. Now before we continue, let me just shed some light on the subject. There we go. That's much better. Now you can see everything. And let's turn on this light as well. Here we go. Now, as you may have noticed, this room's kind of divided into two halves. My bedroom half has walls that are painted blue, and the living room half has walls that are painted beige. So let's start with the living room half. Right here, you'll notice a familiar sight, the couch, which is the location of most of my YouTube videos, plus a coffee table. And just opposite of this couch is this big TV right here. In addition to this couch, I have this add-on that I use as a corner chair. like this. And in the middle of all of that, I have this bookcase. And at the top, I've stored some key pieces of my Alvin and the Chipmunks collection from a few years ago. Just below that, I have this shelf full of books with lots of facts in them. And just below that, in these books, is my DVD collection. And in these books houses 1,010 individual discs, plus this stack here that I have yet to put in those books. Another thing I collect is comic books, which I have stored just below this shelf. Right here on my side table, you'll see my very special mini Christmas tree. And if you look real close, you see it's decked out with Alvin and Chipmunks ornaments. When I don't have my usual wall clock up, I have this one. It's my special Christmas wall clock. It has a special light sensor at the top of the 12 here. So that way, when it's very dark, it's very quiet. But when it's exposed to a lot of light, it's very loud. And it sounds the hour with 12 different Christmas carols. I bet you can guess which one strikes at midnight. Now, if you've seen my videos, you may have noticed my collection of Funko Pop figures that I have displayed on shelves just above the couch. Let's take a closer look. We have Austin Powers, Batgirl, Beetlejuice, Dr. Eggman, Felix the Cat, Hannibal Lecter, Harley Quinn, Jim Henson, the Joker, as well as King Arthur, Mr. Mxyzptlk, Sheldon Cooper, Sonic the Hedgehog, Tim the Enchanter, Weird Al Yankovic, and 2 Woodies here, Sheriff Woody and Woody Woodpecker. I have a few other figures that I have strewn about the place, like over here. Like here in the bookcase is Brian Griffin. The Black Knight and Buzz Lightyear are here under my TV. And Jerry Mouse is right here in my office, which we'll get to in a moment. Now before we get to the bedroom half, let me show you something that meets in the middle. This right here is my special snack nook, which houses a cornucopia of delicious treats. And it comes complete with a microwave, a mini fridge, and this nifty little toaster, which burns a picture of Sonic the Hedgehog on the side. Also displayed here are some pretty interesting things, like this Wacko Warner puppet, which is special because it was my very first eBay auction ever won. And this puppet in my likeness, right here, was made by my very good friend and fellow YouTuber, Michael Paradiso. If you haven't seen his channel, Paradiso Puppets, I recommend you check it out. There's some pretty funny stuff there. This, of course, brings us to the bedroom half. So it's pretty straightforward. Here's my bed, my nightstand. Here's my dresser, where I keep a second TV for the bedroom half. And a bookcase, which stores more pieces of my Alvin and the Chipmunks collection. Plus some play books and theater books, plus my stage makeup box, and this lamp here, which I can control via my Amazon Echo. Watch. Alexa, turn off Tanner's bedroom light.
Okay.
Pretty cool, huh? Next to my dresser, inside this box, I hold my music collection with my records, as well as my cassettes and CDs. And I can play all these thanks to my 6-in-1 turntable up here. And just on top of that, I have the whole kitchen crew up here in their memory foam plush toy form. Which brings us to another room in the basement, right here. It's my office. Here's what it looked like before the restoration. Let's take a look. Now, if you can see here, you see this is where I keep most of my clothes. On top of that, your typical office stuff. Like I have 2 more bookcases in here, full of books, and more books, as well as a pig skull, a Lego version of London, my bachelor's degree in theater studies, and right here is a talent show trophy from high school. I got 4th place, but I beat out a pianist. That's right. By doing a singing ventriloquist act, I managed to beat out a pianist in a talent show. Right here above my desk, you'll see some interesting things hung up on the wall. My college graduation tassel, as well as my high school graduation medal. Here's a picture of me and Weird Al Yankovic. Here's a cheese balls bag I had framed. No particular reason, just because. Here are some framed posters from shows I've starred in with the Millennial Theater Project. And of course, this is where I also store my collection of musical instruments. By this wall, I have my keyboard with a complete poster of piano chords for reference. I have my 2 banjos here. I have this didgeridoo, which I'm not afraid to say I'm god-awful at. In those 2 cases are a clarinet, a cornet, a violin. Here in this corner, in that box, I have an accordion. In this bag, I have my steel tongue drum. In this case here, I have my melodica. And if you can see back there is my keytar. And right here, I have the rest of my Alvin and the Chipmunks collection, right here in this display case. So, that's my office. Now, you may have noticed that on these walls, you see I hang a lot of interesting stuff. Stuff like posters, press photos, even animation cells. Here's another animation cell in my office. This is an original animation cell with a copied background. I have the Warner Brothers and Warner Sister hanging on my wall right here. Most of these I supplied myself throughout the years, but to really make it special, I found some more key decor pieces thanks to Hobby Lobby. Things like this canvas of Batman, the cinema sign here, this sign right here, this picture right here, this tea right above my bed, as well as these pieces for my piano space. And also, while I'm residing here in my bachelor pad, I am also prepared for any invasions by bugs. Down here in the corners of the floor, I got a couple of glue traps. I have this roll of fly paper right here. And of course, for a situation that calls for immediate action, I have my trusty little bug zapper right here. So why have I decided to share all this? Well, I was planning to have a room warming party, kind of like a housewarming party, but for a room, when it was all finished. But then in March, the COVID pandemic happened and we all got locked down and confined in our homes. So I figured this would be a good alternative to show this place to people I've wanted to show, while also staying within the guidelines of social distancing and all that. So I really hope you enjoyed the tour. Thanks for watching, and have a Merry Christmas! Did you guess right? I knew you would.